Commander Sarah Chen never imagined her diplomatic mission would end in chains. The Valdrian Empire's throne room stretched before her like a cathedral of amethyst crystal, its vaulted ceiling disappearing into shadows that seemed to swallow light itself. Guards in obsidian armor flanked her, their energy pikes humming with barely restrained violence. At the far end, elevated on a dais of flowing mercury-like metal, sat the Empress. Kalara Vexthara was everything the intelligence briefings had warned about, and nothing Sarah had prepared for. 7 feet of regal alien majesty, her skin the color of twilight, deep purple fading to silver at her temples. 4 luminous eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, studied Sarah with an intensity that felt like being dissected at the molecular level. Her crown wasn't worn but grown, crystalline formations that emerged from her skull like frozen flame. The human ambassador, Kalara's voice resonated through the chamber, translated by the neural implant behind Sarah's ear but carrying undertones no technology could capture. You stand accused of espionage against the Valdrian throne. Your diplomatic credentials are revoked. You will remain here until your government meets our demands. Sarah kept her chin high despite the energy restraints burning cold around her wrists. Empress, I came here in good faith. The data your security claims I stole was planted. Silence. Kalara's lower right hand made a dismissive gesture, the movement elegant despite its finality. You humans speak of faith while your fleets gather at our borders. You speak of peace while your spies infiltrate our networks. I should execute you as an example. Then why don't you? Sarah met all 4 of those alien eyes without flinching. For the first time, something flickered across the Empress's face. Surprise, perhaps, or the beginning of curiosity. Take her to the tower. Let her contemplate the price of deception from a comfortable cage. As guards dragged her away, Sarah caught Kalara watching her with an expression she couldn't decipher. In that moment, neither of them could have known this was the beginning, not the end. The Tower of Witness, they called it. Sarah's prison was a circular chamber near the palace's apex, its curved walls transparent, offering a panoramic view of the Valdrian capital city of Nexara. Bioluminescent spires stretched toward 3 moons that hung like opals in the violet sky. Ships moved between buildings like schools of mechanical fish. It was breathtaking. It was also designed to remind her exactly how far from home she was. 3 days passed before Kalara visited. Sarah heard her before she saw her, the whisper of ceremonial robes, the subtle electromagnetic field that powerful Valdrians emanated. She didn't turn from the window. Admiring your prison? Kalara's tone was different here, away from the throne room's formality, almost conversational. Admiring your city, Sarah replied. It's beautiful, though I notice your security is stationed around the Eastern Commercial District, preparing for unrest. The silence stretched. When Sarah finally turned, she found Kalara studying her with open fascination, her crown dimmed to a soft glow in the tower's ambient light. You are perceptive, the Empress said slowly. My advisors assured me you were merely a spy, yet you observe like a scholar. Maybe because I'm not a spy. Sarah took a calculated risk, stepping closer. Your Majesty, someone is trying to start a war between our peoples. The data your security found on me, I was investigating where it came from. Someone inside your government is working with hardliners in mind to manufacture this crisis. Kalara's expression hardened. You expect me to believe? Check the encryption signatures yourself. I'm a xenoanthropologist, not an intelligence operative. I study cultures, bridge gaps between species. That's why I was chosen for this mission. Sarah pulled up her neural interface, projecting holographic files between them. These are my real credentials, my research. 20 years of advocating for peaceful first contacts. For a long moment, Kelara examined the data, her 4 eyes scanning rapidly. When she looked up, something in her gaze had shifted. The armor of the throne had cracked, revealing the person beneath. "If you speak truth," she said quietly, "then we are both pawns in someone else's game, and the consequences—" She trailed off, approaching the window. Standing beside Sarah, she seemed suddenly less empress and more woman, burdened by impossible choices. "Tell me about the unrest," Sarah said softly. "Let me help." And for the first time, Kelara began to speak not as ruler to prisoner, but as one problem solver to another. They met in secret after that first conversation. Officially, the Empress was interrogating her prisoner. In reality, they were unraveling a conspiracy that threatened both their worlds. Sarah spread holographic intelligence across the tower floor while Kelara cross-referenced it with Valdrian security reports. The pattern emerged slowly, coordinated attacks on both sides designed to look like acts of war. Diplomatic communications sabotaged. Peace advocates on both sides silenced or discredited. Here, Sarah highlighted a data stream. This signature appears in both our systems, someone with access to both human and Valdrian networks. Kelara leaned closer, and Sarah became acutely aware of the Empress's proximity. The faint scent of ozone and something floral, the way her crystalline crown refracted light across both their faces. When their eyes met, Sarah felt a jolt of connection that had nothing to do with the investigation. "Ambassador Chen," Kelara said, her voice soft in a way that made Sarah's name sound like music. "Sarah, why do you help me? Your people believe you are my prisoner. You could simply wait for rescue." "Because this is bigger than my freedom," Sarah replied honestly. "Because war would devastate millions on both sides, and because—" She hesitated, then continued, "because I think you're trying to do the right thing. Your people don't see it, but I do. The way you've resisted military pressure, the reforms you've tried to implement. You want peace as much as I do." Kelara's hands, all 4 of them, trembled slightly. "The Valdrian throne does not permit weakness. Emotion is seen as a failure of rule." And yet, she reached out, one hand hovering near Sarah's face. "You make me feel things I have suppressed since my coronation." Sarah's breath caught. "Your Majesty, Kelara, when we are alone, call me Kelara." The moment hung between them, charged with possibility and impossibility in equal measure. Then alarms shattered the silence. Kelara's communication device flared, her face hardened instantly. "There's been an attack. The human embassy. Your people are claiming Valdrian responsibility." Sarah's blood ran cold. "It's them, the conspirators. They're accelerating their timeline." "And I must respond," Kelara said, anguish clear in her voice. "The court will demand action. War councils will convene." Then we're running out of time," Sarah interrupted. "We need proof, irrefutable evidence that someone on both sides is manipulating events." Kelara looked torn between duty and desire, between the crown she wore and the person she was becoming. Finally, she made her choice. "Follow me. There is someone who might have answers. But Sarah, if we are discovered, I cannot protect you. The cost would be my throne." Sarah took Kelara's hand, her upper left, the one Valdrians offered in trust. "Then let's make sure we're not discovered." They moved into the palace's shadows together, two women against the machinery of war. Part 4. The heart of treason, 4 minutes. The palace's lower levels were a labyrinth of service corridors and forgotten chambers. Kalara navigated them with practiced ease, her formal robes replaced with a simple cloak that disguised her rank. Sarah marveled at how different she seemed here, less empress, more warrior. "My chief of security, Commander Vex Gorath," Kalara explained as they moved. "He has served my family for 3 generations. If anyone has noticed irregularities in the palace systems, it would be him. But he is also difficult. He served my father, who believed humans were inferior species. His loyalty is to the throne, not necessarily to its current occupant." They found Vex Gorath in a monitoring station, his gray skin marking him as elder among Valdrians. When he saw Kalara with Sarah, his 4 eyes widened. "Your Majesty, the human prisoner, is helping us prevent a war," Kalara interrupted with imperial authority. "Commander, I need your unfiltered assessment. The security breaches, the attacks, do they follow any pattern you recognize?" The old warrior studied them both, suspicion evident. Then, slowly, he pulled up a holographic display. "I have suspected something, but to voice it would be to accuse members of your own court." "Accuse them," Kalara commanded. What Vex Gorath revealed stunned them both. Not just one conspirator, but a network, Valdrian military hardliners working with human supremacist factions. Their goal: manufacture a war, overthrow Kalara's weak rule, and establish military governance on both sides. "The next attack is planned for the Festival of Unity," Vex Gorath said grimly. 3 days from now, simultaneous strikes on both capitals during the peace celebrations. Casualties will be catastrophic. War will be inevitable. Sarah felt sick. "We have to stop it, expose them." "With what?" Kalara's voice cracked slightly. "We have suspicions, circumstantial evidence. Nothing that would survive the court's scrutiny. And if I act on insufficient proof, they will use it to remove me. The coup will succeed regardless." "Then we get better proof," Sarah insisted. "Commander, can you trace their communications, find physical evidence?" "Perhaps, but it would require accessing secure systems. If I am caught, it will appear as treason itself." "I'll do it," Sarah said immediately. "I'm already accused of espionage. Let me actually commit it. Tell me what you need." Kalara grabbed Sarah's shoulders, all 4 hands gripping with desperate intensity. "You could be executed. The risk is worth it if it stops a war, if it saves your throne, if it—" Sarah met those 4 luminous eyes. "Kalara, you know why I'm doing this." The Empress's facade shattered. She pulled Sarah close, their foreheads touching, an intimate gesture among Valdrians Sarah knew from her research, a gesture of deep trust and affection. "I cannot lose you," Kalara whispered. "Not when I have just found you." "Then help me make sure you don't have to." Sarah pulled back slightly, smiling despite the terror. "Besides, I'm pretty good at not getting caught, usually." Vex Gorath cleared his throat. "I will provide what assistance I can for the throne." He paused, his stern features softening slightly. "And perhaps your Majesty deserves to choose her own path, as do we all." As they planned their desperate gambit, Sarah realized she was no longer fighting just for peace between species. She was fighting for something far more personal, far more precious. The chance for a love that should have been impossible. The night of the Festival of Unity, Sarah infiltrated the palace's central security nexus. Vex Gorath had provided access codes and a distraction, a fake security alert in the eastern wing. But the system was vast, and time was running short. She found what they needed in encrypted military communications, explicit plans, transfer logs showing weapons movements, video of the conspirators meeting in secret. The proof was overwhelming. It was also locked behind biometric security she couldn't bypass. That's when Kelara appeared beside her, making Sarah jump. "You shouldn't be here," Sarah hissed. "It requires Imperial access," Kelara said simply, placing her palm on the scanner. "I will not let you take all the risks alone." The data transferred to portable storage just as alarms erupted. They'd been discovered. Guards poured into the Nexus. But these weren't Kelara's loyal security. They wore the insignia of the military faction led by General Kexvara, one of the conspirators. "Your Majesty," the general said with false courtesy, "you should not be in this area, especially with the human spy. We'll take custody of you both for your protection." "On whose authority?" Kelara's voice carried the full weight of the throne, amplified by her crown blazing to full intensity. "On the authority of the Council of Generals. Your rule has become compromised. We act to preserve the Empire. You act to seize power through manufactured war." Kelara held up the data crystal. "I have proof of your conspiracy, of your treason against throne and empire." For a moment, uncertainty flickered across the general's face. Then his expression hardened. "Proof obtained illegally. Proof no one will see." He raised his weapon. Sarah stepped in front of Kelara without thinking. What happened next seemed to occur in slow motion. The weapon fired. Sarah braced for impact, but Kelara moved faster, her upper arms wrapping around Sarah, spinning them both as her lower hands projected an energy shield from devices hidden in her ceremonial bracers. The shot ricocheted. Chaos erupted as Vexkorath arrived with loyal guards surrounding the conspirators. In the confusion, Kelara held Sarah tight, checking her for injuries with desperate hands. "I am well," Sarah assured her. "Kelara, I'm okay." But the Empress didn't let go. "When I saw that weapon aimed at you, I understood. No throne, no empire, no duty is worth losing you. I choose you, Sarah Chen. I choose this forbidden thing between us. Consequences be damned." Around them, the conspirators were being restrained. Vexkorath approached carefully. "Your Majesty, the evidence is secure. The Council will have no choice but to accept the truth. But," he glanced between them, "the court will talk about this, about her." "Let them talk," Kelara said firmly, still holding Sarah. "I am Empress. I choose my own path, and I choose peace between our peoples and in my heart." Sarah laughed, giddy with relief and something far deeper. "You know this complicates interspecies diplomacy significantly." Good, simple was getting boring. Kelara's four eyes sparkled with humor and love. "Ambassador Chen, will you help me navigate these complications? As partner, not prisoner." "Your Majesty," Sarah said with mock formality before kissing her softly. "I thought you'd never ask." 6 months later, Sarah stood beside Kelara on the palace balcony, watching the first joint human-Valdrian celebration in the plaza below. The conspirators had been tried and convicted. Peace treaties were signed. And though some in both governments grumbled about the Empress's inappropriate relationship, far more celebrated it as a symbol of the new era. Kelara's crown glowed softly as she addressed the crowd, Sarah's hand in hers, all four of Kelara's hands finding ways to maintain contact. When the Empress finished her speech about unity and hope, she turned to Sarah. "I once sat alone on a throne of power," she said quietly. "Now I share a throne of hearts. Which do you think is stronger?" Sarah smiled. The second, always the second. Below, humans and Valdrians celebrated together. Above, two leaders who had chosen love over fear looked toward a future they would build together. The throne was no longer forbidden. It was shared, and that made all the difference.